Hi, I'm Manda McKay. I'm a professional artist, and with these videos, I'm going to be giving you tips to enhance your creativity. And like I say at the beginning of each of these videos, these tips are for anybody at any level of creativity. You don't have to be an artist or even an aspiring artist. Even if you're just getting started on some kind of a creative hobby and you don't think of yourself as a creative person at all, these tips are meant to help everybody. And today I want to talk about whether or not creative is a noun. And what I mean by that is calling somebody a creative or talking about the creative class. And I just wanted to talk about that for a few minutes because I think that if you don't consider yourself to be at an expert level or close to it, that this can make it seem like you have to be part of some elite class in order to be creative, and that's simply not true. Now, I think the term creative class, I remember hearing about maybe 10 years ago, and I think that it probably started out because artists were often put down a lot. People would say things like, well, when are you going to get a real job? Or acting like they should give away their art for free, that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of where everybody, got together collectively somehow and said, okay, we're just going to be the creative class. And now it's kind of an elitist thing, and so we have respect again. And I admit that the first time that somebody referred to me as a creative, I was kind of flattered because it meant that they were recognizing that being creative is a big part of my identity. But at this point, I think maybe we should just go back to saying things like professional artists because it's not really, everybody can be creative. So I don't want people to be discouraged by the use of that term creative class or creative as a noun. Everybody can be creative. And I want to point out, first of all, that it's everybody's natural state to be creative. Think back to when you were a kid, or if you don't really remember, look at other people's kids, little kids especially, and see what kind of play they come up with. They invent their own games, they'll invent their own words, they make up stories, their imagination, a box will be a rocket ship. They're extremely creative, and all of us were like that, everybody, not just creative kids. And seriously, spend some time with children and you will see exactly what I mean. So this is everybody's natural state, and I do think that when you were a child, if people were really impatient with you or discouraged this, or wanted you to act more like a grown-up, be more adult, that you would probably, at this point, as an adult, feel rather stifled. I was lucky enough to have a very supportive family that I think really wanted me to be an artist and be creative. So I didn't really get any of that, to tell you the truth. And I went to a school where, at least when we were in the lower grades, elementary school, creativity was very strongly encouraged. And I think that that's great, and I hope that in schools nowadays that they're continuing that. And I hope that if you have kids, or if you're around kids, that you encourage them to be creative and don't stifle them or don't judge them. Now, one other thing about the importance of everybody trying to be creative. Well, even if it's just a hobby, this is good for your well-being to be working on something where you're exercising your creativity, because it will help you return to your natural state before people were stifling you or telling you to grow up. Your natural state is to be playful and creative. And so even if you just have some little hobby and you only do it on weekends for an hour or two, that's going to help you, and that's going to be really good for your mental health. And sorry, I don't have to be a therapist to say that. I think try it and you'll see that I know what I'm talking about with that, with or without any kind of training as a therapist. So it will really help you feel more connected to yourself and hopefully more fulfilled and happier. But also, being creative is going to help us in society with this extreme us and them mentality that we have nowadays and this extreme feeling of being divided. I think there are a lot of people nowadays that it's as if they belong to a cult, and they're hardly having any original thoughts at all. They're parroting back whatever somebody who they perceive as being in charge of them, whatever somebody has said to them, they're just parroting it back. They're not coming up with their own thoughts. They're not considering whether what they've been told is true or not. You probably know somebody like this. Oftentimes these people pretty much just speak in memes whenever they can, because that's even easier to just repost a meme than typing up a few words. You don't even have to remember then what you were told. If you are being creative, by definition, you are having original thoughts. You're coming up with something completely on your own, and you are thinking for yourself. So I just believe that the more we can have people, just everybody, practicing creativity in some way, even if it's just a small little hobby, I think that is going to help us as society move past this hopefully what's just a phase where people aren't thinking for themselves. They're just reciting what they've been told is correct and not considering whether it applies to them or whether it's even true or not. So please don't think of some people are creatives and some people aren't, and especially if you're thinking that you are not a creative. You don't have to be a professional level artist. You still are at heart a creative person. You just need to practice and bring that out. So please, whatever time you can find, there's certainly some creative hobby that you will enjoy, or if you want to be a more serious artist, that's great too, but set aside some time for it, and it will really help you feel better about yourself and hopefully better about the world too. So again, my name is Manda McKay, and I hope you found this tip to be helpful. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and remember to give yourself a chance. Be creative. You can be creative, and you'll probably have something wonderful that you can come up with to share with all of us. Thanks again for watching.